What would it be like for aliens and humans to coexist on Earth? However, it all started on this day a truck, cautiously driving along the border, filled with stowaways. Yet, the police, having waited for a long time, were ready to intervene. Just as the captain was about to haul everyone to the station, a car sped to the scene. Men in black emerged, claiming to be from the Immigration Bureau, and took over the situation. He approached the stowaways one by one, then led an elderly man into the forest. When they were alone, the man in black tore open the elder's clothing, only to discover an alien wearing a human mask. As the interrogation was about to proceed, an inquisitive police officer followed. The alien, realizing he was spotted, pushed an elderly agent aside and bolted. In a critical moment, he turned to ash, just as more officers arrived. The man in black quickly pulled out a memory eraser. With a flash of red light, he wiped everyone's memory clean. When the dust settled, the man in black sat next to his partner. They had worked together for years, but age was catching up with his older colleague, prompting the man in black to consider urging him into early retirement.
You won't.
On the other side, Officer James was in hot pursuit of a fugitive who proved exceptionally adept at escaping. His colleagues were quickly outmaneuvered. The chase extended for some time, and instead of slowing down, the fugitive effortlessly leapt off a bridge. James was momentarily stunned. What kind of sorcery is this? He wondered. But in the next second, James leaped onto a bus and after a 10-block chase, cornered the fugitive against a wall. The fugitive then pulled out a strangely shaped weapon. Fortunately, James was quick to react, though the fugitive remained calm, ominously claiming that the world was about to end. Then, with a twitch of his eye, leaped off a high building. With no third party witnessing the incident, James became the prime suspect. Back at the station, his colleagues interrogated him, suspecting he might have intentionally pushed the fugitive off the building. No matter what James said, they didn't believe him. However, the medical examiner, Laurel, noticed something unusual and urged James to examine the fugitive's body. Then, as if on cue, a man in a black suit and shiny shoes appeared, the light flashing red outside. First, he unplugged the security camera. He asked James if he remembered the gun used by the fugitive. James affirmed his memory was vivid. Next, James was taken to a small store where they interrogated the owner about selling dangerous weapons. The cunning store owner kept dodging their questions. Without a word, the man in black shot the store owner in the head. James was terrified. He swiftly pulled out his gun and demanded the man in black to drop his weapon. Just as James was about to pull the trigger, something unbelievable happened. The shot store owner stood up and regrew his head. James was utterly shocked. Under pressure from the man in black, the store owner promptly produced his collection of alien weapons, among which James recognized one. Having confirmed the source of the weapons, the man in black issued an ultimatum to the store owner: forfeit all the equipment and leave Earth. Stepping out of the store, James began to question his reality while the man in black coolly put on his sunglasses. The man in black then explained to James the history of human-alien contact. His code name was K, and his job was to help aliens find sanctuary and cover their tracks. For instance, the flying saucer-shaped buildings at the World's Fair were actually two real UFOs. Initially skeptical, James's worldview was completely altered when he saw an alien with his own eyes. After a night of contemplation, James decided to join the men in black. Subsequently, Kay erased all traces of James's existence on Earth, including his fingerprints and birth certificate. From then on, there was no more James, only an agent known as Jay. Suddenly, an alarm went off. A large group of aliens was illegally exiting the planet. Jay and Kay immediately drove off to investigate and soon encountered Octopus Brother, who was about to flee. Octopus Brother explained that his wife was about to give birth. Kay said it wasn't a big deal and pulled Octopus Brother aside for interrogation, leaving Jay to handle the delivery. But Jay had no experience with childbirth. He could only greet and whistle nervously while Kay questioned Octopus Brother about why he was leaving. Sensing something significant was about to happen, Octopus Brother didn't give a direct answer. Meanwhile, his wife successfully gave birth to a little octopus. An alien spaceship streaked across the sky and crashed with a bang on a remote farm. Edgar, hearing the noise, came out with a shotgun to investigate.
Please, projectile weapon on the ground.
You can have my gun when you pry it from my cold dead fingers.
Your proposal is acceptable.
But was soon told to drop his weapon. Moments later, a human's skin was thrown out, then quickly pulled back. A ghastly-looking Edgar crawled out. Clearly, he was no longer the Edgar everyone knew. His behavior became very strange, and he consumed a lot of high-sugar syrup. When his wife noticed his skin seemed about to fall off, she asked what was wrong. Edgar looked in the mirror, then nearly ripped his face off as he tugged at his scalp.
Is that leather?
The next day, a pest control expert arrived to eliminate cockroaches. The expert called the cockroaches pests, which enraged Edgar. He killed the expert and used the expert's van to transport the spaceship. Later, Edgar disguised himself as a waiter in a restaurant, serving an old man who was not so easy to fool. The old man immediately realized Edgar was not human, prompting Edgar to kill him and take a small box from the table before leaving. The little cat, still intent on avenging its master, was not ready to give up. He walked out of the restaurant with an odd gait, then made his way to his car. After struggling mightily to open the box, he discovered it was filled with diamonds, not at all what he was searching for. Meanwhile, Jay and Kay stumbled upon an unusual piece of news at a roadside magazine stand. A woman claimed that aliens had stolen her husband's skin. The duo quickly visited the woman's home to understand the full story, confirming the presence of an alien entity on Earth. They then erased the woman's memory. They proceeded to the crash site of the spaceship. Soil analysis quickly revealed signs of an insectoid invasion. All evidence suggested that as long as the insect species remained in the city, they would likely head to the morgue. At that time, the bodies of the old man and the cat were taken to the morgue. Upon examination, Laurel, the medical examiner, found that their bodily structures were not human. Jay and Kay soon arrived at the morgue, and Laurel and Jay examined the old man's body together. She commented that the body seemed more like a vehicle than a creature. Then, noticing a mark on the old man's ear, Jay touched his face, which unexpectedly opened up to reveal a miniature alien sitting inside.
Contest.
The alien spoke of the Milky Way near Orion before its head tilted, and it died. At that moment, Kay approached and discovered that the alien was actually a member of the Arquilian royal family, Rosberg. Realizing the gravity of the situation, he erased Laurel's memory, and the two hurried back to headquarters to search for clues. Despite scouring many documents, they still couldn't understand Rosenberg's last words. Deciding to visit Rosenberg's jewelry store for more clues, they first needed to arm themselves, and Jay finally obtained his first weapon.
Hey, Kay, no, come on, man. You get a Series 4 deatomizer, I get a little midget cricket. Oh, yeah.
Upon arriving at the jewelry store, they found it in complete disarray. Despite a thorough search, they came up with nothing. Just then, a gunshot rang out from outside. Jay saw an alien wearing human skin and without hesitation, pulled the trigger. Surprised by the powerful recoil of the small gun and seeing the alien about to escape, he quickly stood up and fired again. Although Edgar managed to escape, fortunately, his spaceship was left behind. Laurel, observing the Milky Way on the cat, was stunned by the dazzling cosmic scenery on its body. Meanwhile, Edgar had reached the entrance to the morgue. As the attendant asked him what service he needed while swatting at bugs, Edgar's face turned pale, but he restrained himself. He started to explain about a cat that was brought in with a body, but before he could finish, the attendant killed another bug. Holding back his anger as the attendant tested death's boundaries by killing yet another bug, Edgar finally lost his temper. Not long after, Jay and Kay also arrived at the morgue, asking Laurel if she had seen a cat named Orion, as they intended to take the little cat back for research.
No, but maybe you could take me with you instead.
Damn, you do start fast, don't you?
I'd really like to go with you. Now.
However, Edgar, who had been hiding under the bed, was growing increasingly impatient. In a swift move, he snatched the Milky Way pendant and took Laurel as a hostage. Despite appearing dim-witted at times, Edgar's jumping ability was exceptional. He then hijacked a taxi, swallowing the Milky Way pendant whole. Jay and Kay immediately returned to headquarters and locked down the entire area, determined to find Edgar. Just then, a warship appeared near Earth and broadcast a voice message demanding the surrender of the Milky Way pendant, threatening to attack Earth if their demands were not met. Rather than let the Milky Way fall into the hands of the insectoids, they would prefer to destroy the Earth. Suddenly, they remembered the two UFOs from the World Expo, deducing that Edgar was likely to use these ships to escape. So, they hurried to the expo. Upon arriving, they indeed found Edgar there. He threw Laurel aside, started the UFO, and attempted to flee. They quickly maximized their firepower and shot down the UFO. After the crash, an enraged Edgar finally revealed his true form as a giant cockroach.
Like this?
The duo was stunned as Cockroach Brother swallowed their weapons and sent them flying with a single slap. Seeing his beloved weapon taken, a furious K approached to confront him but was swallowed by Cockroach Brother in one gulp. As Cockroach Brother turned to leave, Jay tried everything to stop him but was no match. Just as the cockroach was about to board the ship, Jay stepped on a nearby small cockroach, infuriating Cockroach Brother further.
I'm sorry. Then that must mean that that's your uncle then, huh?
Just as Cockroach Brother was about to devour Jay, his body suddenly exploded. It turned out that K had found a weapon inside its stomach and successfully retrieved the pendant containing the Milky Way. In the end, K, feeling it was time to retire, handed the memory eraser to Jay and asked him to erase his own memories so he could enjoy a normal life. However, the crisis on Earth was not yet completely resolved. A teardrop-shaped alien spacecraft landed smoothly, and as its hatch slowly opened, a plant-like alien insect tumbled out onto the ground. A curious dog quickly ran over to investigate and began barking loudly at the alien insect. Then, the insect, taking inspiration from a picture in a magazine, transformed itself into a stunning supermodel, leaving onlookers in awe. At that moment, a man wielding a knife attempted a robbery, thinking he was in for a treat. However, in the next second, the supermodel turned the tables. Enjoying her moment of retaliation, she then located the two-headed informant who had provided her with crucial information. Following the leads, they ended up at a pizza shop where they threatened the owner to disclose the whereabouts of the Light of Satar. The stubborn owner refused to reveal any information, choosing death over betrayal. Frustrated, the supermodel split him in two, an act witnessed by Laura, who was hiding nearby. Meanwhile, Jay and his new partner were on a mission. Jay was patiently greeting a small flower while his less tactful partner resorted to punching and kicking it. Unbeknownst to them, the flower concealed a massive, irritable creature beneath it. In the end, it was Jay who stepped in to resolve the situation. At this point, the creature had completely lost control, rampaging with Jay along the subway tracks before being flung into a subway car. Faced with the prospect of the entire subway being devoured, Jay, reluctantly, revealed his weapon. This managed to calm the creature down, and before leaving, Jay erased its memory as well as that of his hapless partner. Since Agent K left, Jay had struggled to find a partner with whom he shared a good rapport. Upon returning to headquarters, the boss expressed displeasure at his impromptu decision to fire his inadequate partner. As a remedy, the boss assigned Jay a dog partner and tasked them with investigating the death of the pizza shop owner. They quickly arrived at the pizza shop, but found no clues at the scene. Fortunately, Laura, who had witnessed the murder, had not left. From Laura, Jay learned that the killer's motive was to find the Light of Satar. After understanding the full context, Jay prepared to erase Laura's memory with the memory eraser. However, a single remark from Laura left him steeped in silence.
Yard. That's very lonely.
Her words hit a sore spot, and after a moment of silence, Jay chose not to erase her memory. Instead, he decided to preserve this memory as if making a friend who did not need reacquainting. Later, Jay headed to a suburban area where he spotted the teardrop-shaped alien spaceship and reported back to his boss. The boss immediately suspected that the murderer seeking the Light of Satar was Serlina. It turned out that 25 years earlier, Serlina had attacked the planet Satar in an attempt to seize the cosmic energy known as the Light of Satar. Knowing she could not withstand Serlina's assault, the Princess of Satar brought the Light of Satar to Earth, seeking the Men in Black's help in safeguarding it, and the agent who handled this was none other than his former partner, K. After his memory was erased, K began working as a regular employee at a post office. J, witnessing his former partner in such a mundane setting, felt a deep sense of melancholy. K, now oblivious to J and the existence of aliens, had his worldview shaken when, under J's command, all the post office staff revealed their true alien forms, leaving him struggling to accept this reality. Determined to understand what was happening, K decided to return to the Men in Black headquarters. Upon arrival, everyone greeted him eagerly. After all, as one of the most celebrated agents in interstellar combat history, K was well known, though he found the familiarity strange and could only respond awkwardly and politely. Approaching a hovering blue sphere, K couldn't resist reaching out to touch it, but fortunately, Jay stopped him just in time. preventing the destruction of an alien species. At that moment, Jay handed Kay the most iconic weapon, a move that could be seen as a bold revenge. They then proceeded to the memory restoration room to attempt to restore Kay's memory. However, just then, Serlina burst into their headquarters, using her elongated tentacles to control all the staff present. Fortunately, the memory restoration room had an escape route. The emergency escape device ejected JK onto the streets. Eager to restore Kay's memory as quickly as possible, they visited the weapons dealer where they first met. Despite the merchant's numerous efforts, Kay's memory failed to return, leaving him feeling deceived and frustrated. Frustrated, Kay stepped out of the store, but as he encountered familiar scenes, his memories gradually began to resurface. Meanwhile, Jay was cornered by alien criminals in a laboratory. Just as Jay was about to be killed, Kay arrived just in time and eliminated the threats, once again proving his invaluable skills and reigniting his past heroics. Despite Kay's restored memory, he remained clueless about the whereabouts of the Light of Satar. They proceeded to the crime scene for clues and were greeted with a beating as soon as they entered.
Personnel.
No! Drop that weapon! No!
Fortunately, they found a key to a storage locker from a photo on the wall, which could potentially lead to the Light of Satar. Just as Kay was about to erase Laura's memory, he was stopped. Reluctantly, they had to take Laura to the alien insect's home instead. They then rushed to the station and successfully found the corresponding locker, discovering a group of furry little aliens inside.
I've been looking everywhere for that watch.
These aliens depended on a watch as their beacon. Without it, they would lose their way. To compensate, Jay quickly removed his own watch and hung it there, becoming their new guardian deity. Meanwhile, the watch Kay obtained showed they had only 59 minutes left. Though unsure of what it implied, they hurried to a video store. Using the videotapes, Kay finally recalled the suppressed memories the Light of Satar had never left Earth and was, in fact, on Laura's wrist. Rushing to the insect's home, Jay and Kay arrived too late. Seeming to face an inevitable battle, an energy cannon blasted the door open, and they were sucked into the headquarters by a massive force. The headquarters emergency system was triggered immediately. Facing intense firepower at the elevator, they narrowly escaped robot attacks. Thanks to their preparation, Kay, with acrobatic prowess, covered Jay as he ran to the basement to rescue Laura, then lured a robot into an elevator and destroyed it with a bomb. When Jay found Laura, she was about to be sent to the Carlos Star. An alien blocked Jay's path actually, for aliens with incredible speed. Jay quickly adapted, picking up an iron rod and knocking one out, then blinding another. The two aliens collided at high speed, allowing Jay to eliminate all aliens before the spaceship's launch and rescue Laura.
Down! Slammed you across the room.
However, Kay was left hanging in midair by Serlina, who failed to notice Jay behind her. Jay took the shot, turning her to dust. But the crisis wasn't over. If the Satar bracelet wasn't sent off Earth before midnight, it would explode and destroy the planet. They raced towards the target location, with only 10 minutes left on Kay's watch and a resurrected Serlina in pursuit. Kay activated superdrive mode. Even so, Serlina kept up. Jay, spotting an opportunity, drove the car into a subway tunnel and slammed on the brakes unexpectedly, turning Serlina into food for another alien monster. They successfully located the Satar spaceship, and Kay finally revealed the truth. The bracelet's function was merely to pinpoint the launch site, but the real Light of Satar was Laura herself. Now, she must return to Satar to save his homeland. The sensible Laura came to terms with the harsh reality, reluctantly saying goodbye to Jay. She boarded the Satar spaceship and set off into space. In the end, Kay moved the little aliens from his locker to another but felt pity for them, asking if they could be freed, as living a life confined to a locker was too cruel. Kay sighed, kicking open a nearby door. After all, weren't they also living in a metaphorical locker? And with that, today's story comes to a close. See you next time.